Hello, big beautiful world. It has been a while. Today, sunny Tooradin out of Victoria, my nearest airfield. William May still stranded off there in the distance. In 2024 this time. I don't think I actually copied it over from 2020, so we'll see how it behaves. And today we're taking up one of the moths. Oh, double rainbows, man. We are taking up the Moth Minor. Now, it's from Flight Replica. Some wag happened to comment on one of my ancient videos that they thought my Gypsy Moth video was crap as reviews go, and I couldn't agree more. As you cats will know, if you've ever watched my stuff, I'm really lousy at critiquing. I have no qualifications with which to do so outside my own meagre intellect. All I know is that I love these. There's the leopard moth, the fox moth, which I've been flying for years, the gypsy moth now, and of course this one, the Moth Minor up in Marketplace. Now let's hop in, shall we? All right, so let's get ourselves set up. We'll turn off our head tracking for a tick. Let me just come in here. Okay, so what has we got? We've got the battery on, obviously. Here's our little meager autopilot. Looks like our battery's on, so if we hover over. So I must admit, I don't have the manual. I've reached out to Flight Replicas through Facebook to see if we can do it, see if I can grab a manual. But I'm not sure where the start button is. So if any of you cats know, by all means I would appreciate it. I'm just going to turn the alternator on. We've got all the good stuff now. And we'll, I think we'll just hit, is it Control E? Cool. Sweet as. We'll get underway now. It does have wing fold. That's our wing fold up there, and there's our move to rear, and down here is our remove chocks. Cool, so let us reactivate this puppy. And let's get flying because the weather's pretty crap and it's actually setting in. We've had hell weather. These past couple of weeks. Interesting. There we go. Hang on. Okay. Actually, let's get a bit of pushback, shall we? Is that going to give it to us? Because this is fairly rigid. Where's Tom and Terry when you need them? They're in the way every other bloody place, so. Oh, come on, look, let's just bounce out over the grass then, shall we? Get out on 22. To be sure. Yeah, the weather's been absolutely Arctic / Antarctic over the past couple of weeks here. So better to be flying only in the sim, I think. Looking down over Tooradin in the past couple of weeks. It's yeah, very few. In fact, even Moorabbin, where I come past on the train, very, very little traffic compared to the ordinary summery days we tend to experience here in Oz. For 9 months of the year, there you are, I'm boasting now. Alright, along the little gravel path. Gently does it. gently does it actually. I could have taken that one, but nah, it's all good. All good, we'll see it. Do the right thing, get to the bars, take off from there, and then we'll head out over, if we've got time, depending on what the cruise is like on this puppy. We'll see how we go. Maybe do the Nobbies and the Penguins Parade and all the rest of it down at Phillip Island before we bring her in near the Vietnam Museum. Come on, don't get stuck on me, kids. Just like in real life, there's a few potholes along this dirt road, along this gravel track. You've got to go careful because otherwise you kick it up, taking the ultralights off, or even the little pipers. But it's a great little airfield. So I must admit, I bought the Moth Minor and the Gypsy Minor over a week ago, and I didn't think to load them up. And then when I logged in last night, I saw it had the Leopard Minor as well, which I thought was kind of cool. But so I grabbed that as well. They're cheap as chips here. They're about 15 to 17 bucks a throw up on the Marketplace Oz, make it even cheaper for anyone around the world, I should think. The trouble is, when I went to look for them, it said that they were streamed, that is to say they're loaded in my library. Let's get up, shall we? I ain't using any flaps. Oh, it's a sweet little feeling, this one. And we're away. Alright, I love it. I haven't even flown this sucker before. I really love it already. It's lovely. Very, very elegant little beastie. And it's they just tend to be my favourites, these things. I don't know why. They're not winning on the graphics front. They're not winning on the sound front. They're not winning on in a lot of ways, but we are going into a storm, by the way, folks. That's just how we roll on a Sunday afternoon. Should have kept her on full throttle. Very poor form on my behalf. But yeah, one of the things, if you do buy it, and you do buy it on the Marketplace, and you do buy it from Steam, you may encounter the same problem I encountered, which is I went to look for it in my library and couldn't find it. It just showed the fox moth, which I've had in there since time immemorial. And I thought, oh, bugger it, I'll go for a flight in the fox moth anyway down here, because I haven't done a flight out of Tooradin in 2024 yet. And like I said, I loaded that puppy in because it shows the Imelda May, and that's a significant character or character component to Tooradin airfield. Actually, we can avoid that altogether, can't we? So I thought, yeah, we'll go for a rundown. But yeah, it was only when I loaded up the fox moth that I saw the gypsy moth, the leopard moth, and the moth minor in that. So I'm not sure what the trigger is. Maybe it's something on the database side that only operates off the word moth and therefore throws them all together, which is potentially what it's all about. But yeah, I can't honestly say. But if you are experiencing it and you can't see it in your library, maybe just check anything with the word moth in it in your library and have a look under there so you can find it. So anyway, what else is happening? Not really a bunch. Not really a bunch. Like I said, it's cold weather down here in Melbs. And a bit dastardly. Let's move in a bit, eh? Well, it's cool, you get the period piece pilot, which is good. So there's something to be cheerful. And it is nice that it's got the folding wings. It's nice that you get the chocks with it. The map and the briefcase are non-functional. No great thing. So there's your chocks, wing fold, and not much else. And like I said, I'm not sure where the actual startup button is. I had to control it. So hopefully we'll learn about that over the next couple of days. Today one of the cities dropped. I think it's more cities from the States, and they've thrown in a free Dakota, Piper Dakota, which is very nice. Although I don't know if it's going to sort of drag me away from the Piper Warrior, which I fly, the beautiful Warrior, or I forget who makes it, but fantastic. But I really love these Flight Replica little beasties. I think they're a grand, they fit the niche for idiots like me to a T. And I'll say something for the Flight Replica crew, they're quick to get back to you through Facebook. I don't know about email, but I haven't tried them through email, to be honest. But very, very cool team, like the Red Wings team. They can respond through Facebook or Discord, although I no longer use Discord. So we're just going to give ourselves a touch of let's go for that, shall we? Bring it down towards San Remo. Just to the point there. Yeah, I forget where I was going with that. The other thing I've inquired, the Red Wings crew. I've actually reached out to them to see if I can load in all the 1935 stuff. I tried it once early on and it collapsed, just CTD back to desktop. And that might have been because I was trying to load so much in, not only Red Wing stuff but others. So I'm just waiting for him to get back to me to see if I can load in the whole 1935 landscape again, which I must admit I became addicted to in the 2020. It just gave me something that I don't know, scratched my itch in its entirety. So, do you get bang for buck for this? Well, you can answer yourself, I'm sure. I think the modelling is lovely. I think each of the aircraft has a little bit to build. They're quite distinct from each other, enough for me anyway. The Fox Moth is certainly a quirky beastie, but I still love it immensely. I should have actually gone around Malta. I promised a friend to do Malta, but I might take the Leopard Moth around Malta for the next vid. Here we are over the place they call the Mosquito Pit, because there's always a lot of mozzies down here. This is French Island. I think I've done old videos on it. Just up here on our left, our 11 o'clock, there's actually a private property. It used to be, or a private farm now, I believe. It used to be an asylum, or originally a prison and then an asylum. And throughout the interbellum years into the Second World War, there was a little airfield down here as well. I don't know if it's still down there. So we'll keep an eye out for it as we go over. In fact, it might even still be in use for some of the people down here. As you can see, it's not too far from the mainland. There's the nearest point. I think that's the town of Corella or Corellia or something. But yeah, it's pretty... This is a great area to learn to fly. Very little traffic, although you do get your cowboys out. When we were up in a little Texan 2 ultralight, half the cats down there weren't using radio call out, so there was a few touch and go moments. There was a Mooney coming in fast and it was zipping along, flying out of Phillip Island, and I happened to catch it off to my 9 o'clock and must have been clocking in, I don't know, 130, 140 knots. Holy hell, it was moving. Didn't even bother putting out the call. Couldn't have been 500 feet below us. I mean, all safe, all well, but even so, a little bit of respect wouldn't have gone astray. Yeah, down here is the old airfield somewhere. So just to throw it about, it's got some decent enough sounds. Lovely. I don't know, are we game enough to chuck it in a loop? I guess so. Let's give it some stick. Bring her up. See if we can bring her over the top, eh? Hold her back. Oh. Well, there you go. Actually, that's still pretty cool. I don't know about you, but I dig it. Anyway, enough of the tomfoolery. Let's get her in. I just wanted to take her up, see what she's like. Like I said, I can't find the start button on it. Doesn't appear to be there, not even in the glove box. But yeah, interesting little setup. I'm sure they'll get back to me with a PDF or something, hopefully. Actually, we'll bring her around. Let's give her some more stick. Nice afternoon for it, even though the clouds are annoying as hell. Not much wind out. There was earlier, but seems to have died down. I'll bring her in over Penguin Parade, and then wouldn't it be lovely if they showed the penguins coming in? They normally come in at about 6 o'clock, so I think we'll miss it by about an hour. En masse, marching up to their little huts. Stinky little critters that they are. They're a bit beautiful though. And these are the ones that evidently Trump's got it in for down at Hurd and McDonald Island. But they seem keen to defend themselves against such idiocy. Hastings and Bitten off to the right there, towards our 3 o'clock. Wannington Peninsula further off, over at 1 o'clock there, down towards the southern end, Sorrento. This is really, it is lovely living down this way. You know, fundamentally an hour from either point from Phillip Island or from Mornington Peninsula. But in fact, in many respects, it's a special part of the world. And as I can't help point it out every time I go down to Phillip Island that On the Beach, Neville Shute's novel, and also Stanley Kramer's film from 58, 59 was set here. Maybe that's just my gallows humour at work, I don't know. But it seems fitting, I think. What's the doomsday clock these days? 89 seconds, so less than a minute and a half to the big one. There you go, something cheerful to contemplate for the afternoon. Can't say I don't have a sense of humour about some things. You're looking good, Melbs. You're looking good. Well, technically Melbs is up that way, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, look, I mean, if you're asking me, I can't recommend the Moths highly enough. I think if you need that itch scratched, yeah, you've got the Clem, which is beautiful. You've got the Typhoon, the ME108, which is also awesome. You got some freebies like the Percival Mew. You've got the Brown M1 from Sal 1800, I think. You got the Stearmans, of course, both versions, Gaz and is it Flight Replica, the other one? I forget who the other, India Fox Deco maybe. You got the Waco. You got some truly beautiful interbellum aircraft. You got the Beech Staggerwing Model 17. But if you want, oh, you've got of course the A1R Design Bureau's STA. I don't know if they fixed the chrome paintwork, you know, the shiny paintwork on that for 2024 yet. Last time I flew it, they hadn't. It just greyed out like the Blender model or whatever. But I reckon these things are a treat. This particular one, the Moth Minor, actually comes with the enclosed cabin, the tandem cockpit. I'm not even sure what all of the versions are, to be honest, but you do get an array of them for like like I said, 15 or 17 bucks or whatever it is. So that alone is worth the price of admission. I believe that you get a lovely flight model with each. So the sound packs, you know, clearly borrowed from whatever else. But I think they're just, I don't know. It's that immersion factor, and it scratches my itch, as I've said. So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate in buying them again. I think they're great. I think they are fantastic. But on the flights in front, I'm not seeing a lot else that really floats my boat at the moment. Like I said, call me sentimental, an old buffoon, call me whatever the hell you want. Doesn't matter. Can't hear you. But I think I do want to now try and recreate the 1935 landscape as much as possible in Europe, at least, and America where possible. I don't know how LaGuardia is going to go, because I think was it Lakeview, where with the Zeppelin package, I think that actually transformed Manhattan and New York to be 1935 type Manhattan. So I'm not sure what impact that'll have on 2024. Anyway, we'll see what happens when Fred Wing get back to me with the message or whatever. But these things are real, you know, fly by the seat of your pants, and I think they're great. I think they're great. There's a little town of Cowes, which is technically the capital of Phillip Island. Cowes, of course, is named after the Isle of Wight, and next to it you've got Ventnor down there. Again, the Isle of Wight comes to mind, or is it mainland? I'm not sure. Pretty sure it's Isle of Wight as well. And the only other place to note is over on the eastern tip there, you've got Rill. So, you know, the rest of it is pretty much, I won't say barren. There's all this, like I said, we're now approaching down here off the southeastern tip. That little outcropping there is the Nobbies, a little set of islands, and on the landward side you've got Penguin Parade, which is where you go down to see the little pengies come in, the little penguins, fairy penguins we call them, or what is it, Pacific Blue, I forget what their more formal name is, but throughout my lifetime they've been called fairy penguins. So yeah, they'll come in, and you got a couple of jaunts a day to just patiently go out under the boardwalks and watch them come in. Very, very cool. And it's just, I don't know, this is one of my favourite getaway spots. Got a lot of mates who were born and raised down here, and as with most little slices of paradise, they couldn't wait to get away because it was batshit boring to them. But now, as we all get older, they long for that tedium and boredom. You know, the only other thing I can say about Phillip Island is there are some amazingly talented visual artists. However, in time they almost invariably devolve to seascapes, which is a bit of a drag. So yeah, what can I say on that count? Just level her out a bit. Yeah, so there's Ventnor down there, his Cowes over here. Nice place to go swimming. I think, is it north of somewhere? No, not north, not around there. Down towards that point, I think, is where you get all the waxheads, all the surfers coming in, because you get all the southern ocean swells down there. But yeah, that's bravery beyond compare. So if you're still with me, thank you. If you watched any of the other crap I'm coming up with, again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As is obvious, I really don't, it's not for fear of pissing anyone off, I'm very good at that as well, but it's just that I trust that anyone who watches the shit I come out with is discerning enough to know what they want, or not, as the case may be. I can only tell you what pleases me, and this pleases me immensely. Let's hop out and grab another picture postcard as usual. It's obviously got the lights of the Magister, you know, the Miles Magister, and the other famous sports aircraft of the interbellum years, especially the 1930s monoplanes. But it's really quite lovely, and it's nice to have this RAAF marking. It's I haven't checked out what squadron it belongs to, but I think it's very, very lovely that it does that. A nice little tip of the hat, and thank you Flight Replicas for doing it. Not that I have much national chauvinism or jingoism going on in me bones, but it's a sweet touch anyway. So as you can see, the knobbies out there are islands, separated there by that little archipelago. And we're bringing it in low, hopefully not low enough to scare the penguins, but just low enough to blow the hats off the tourists who have come to watch the penguins. So this will probably go a bit over time, but if you're still with me, I hope you're enjoying it. It's a good afternoon for it. It's a lovely way to spend the time. And what the hell, it's a beautiful sunset. As I said, I'll do a similar review for the leopard moth at some point, and the gypsy moth as well. It reminds me of is it the Avro Avian? The gypsy moth. It's got that whole kind of Harry Tate raised cowling at the front, raised air intake at the front. But yeah. But it should be a joy to fly about him. I don't know if they'll ever issue an update for the gypsy moth, and its very, very demanding flight characteristics, because it's does not like being overspeeded or oversped. I don't know what the verb is there. But obviously the vis is good on this, very sweet. And in fact it might even, there we go, so here's, it's building down to our right. Anybody who's got the previous videos will know all about it. So let's have a look out. We'll just, that's the penguin center, and just here is where you're corralled down. Those little walkways, you're corralled down towards the beach to watch the penguins come in. And you've got the Cape Gander geese with what I call the day glow bills. They got these strange lemon lime bills on them, and they're rather big units. They're probably as high as 2 foot tall. So what's that? 2/3 of them? No, 2/3 of a meter maybe in metric. And they own the place. They're cheeky little beggars, and they own the place, and they're fearless and friendly and rather cute little beasties. But you know, trying to get through them in your car when you're pulling up at that car park back there, you can't see the car park anymore. I missed that opportunity. But they take a bit of herding to get out of the road, and they're kind of a bit obstinate in a cute, kind of annoying, frustrating way. So again, we're just kind of bringing it in over the F1 track, same track that I don't know how much it's been altered since the 50s, but again, to reference on the beach, the same track that Fred Astaire flew around in his car before the end of the world was nigh. And in the movie On the Beach. And then we should be able to bring her into the airfield, which runs alongside the Vietnam War Museum. And if you are over down that way, get in there. It's interesting. They've got the UH-1, they've got the chopper, so the Huey. They've got I think an M113 some other bits and bobs. They've got a boo-boo, a caribou at the front. What else? They've actually got a... That's interesting. What the heck, that isn't supposed to be the F1 circuit? Can't be, surely. Actually, let's get up while you're here. Thanks for indulging me, folk. Just going to bring around a bit and see what is what. Because I don't recall a quarry being there. Alright, well, let's head over the other side and see what's over here. Because it's our main drag. I think it's our main drag in. The F1 circuit should be down here, I think. Let's find out, eh? Well, that is decidedly odd. Well, curious or incurious. Ah, here we go. Might be the circuit over here. That looks a little healthier, up towards the main drag. Here we go. So that's the F1 circuit or the bike circuit or whatever the hell it is. A little further on, we just bring her into land. So you can actually hire a Beamer, BMW, and go flying around here. Well, I don't mean flying, but you can do many laps around the circuit, which is kind of cool. I forget what the cost is, but a lot of folk do it. It's very good. Very good. What's our landing speed on this? 45 mile an hour. Yeah, cool. So hopefully this is going to be nice and stable all the way in. And I won't cause too much heartache. Well, I really have usurped all your time, folks, and I've just rabbited on pretty much about nothing. I do hope, and somehow I've magically gotten to the back seat. I do hope this is at least giving you a kind of idea of what this sucker is all about, this beastie. And like I said, for what it's worth, I highly recommend it. I think it's a great blast to get about in. Viz is wonderful, nostalgia factors through the roof. Textures are fine. Are they 2024? No. You know, but is be honest with me, is much in 2024 at the moment. Outside the beautiful ground texturing and buildings, you know, you go over Rio Maggiore in Italy, and you still think, no, it still doesn't capture the colour of Rio Maggiore because you've got those semi-autogenic environment. But that being said, who am I to complain, because I'm stuck here in cold Gippsland, Victoria, 12,000 miles from said beautiful, colourful Rio Maggiore, and if that is what I need to get rid of the seasonally adjusted disorder blues, then you can bet your bollocks I am going to take whatever I can get in this flight sim. Because, sad and pathetic though it may sound, the sim just fits the bill. It just hits all the spots for me. It's Wallamite, Cape Wallamite off the end there. Beautiful. I think that's, is that the home of the Wallamite pine? I'm pretty sure it might be, or is that up in New South Wales? And I discovered a really rare pine tree. It's one thing I've noticed that Australians tend to be is really, and I don't say it with pride, but I'm actually constantly astounded how knowledgeable they are about nature and how in love we are with our kind of our ecology here in Oz. You know, even the most unassuming or cityfied Australian can be like that. Let's beat her off. We don't really need flaps, but we're going to give her some flaps anyway, I think. Yeah, we'll just bring it down. But yeah, we tend to be kind of proud of it, but also I think we genuinely seem to care about a lot of our nature. There's a lot of it down here. A good example is I stopped outside the office where I work in a relatively built up part of Melbourne to admire two beautiful big corellas. Corellas are kind of like pink parrots or pink-eyed or pink crowned parrots. But come on, Bubba, in we come. Oh, that's going to be tragic. Oh, wow. Okay, so note to self. Whee. Don't know what I did there, but clearly I really wasn't paying attention. Okay, can we just pretend I didn't do that? That's alright, I think you've all come to expect that I do stuff like that all the time. We'll bring her in. Yeah, so corellas, beautiful white corellas. Now we've got a very common parrot down here, pink and grey, called the galah. And, God, I can't even stay on the bloody roadway. What's wrong with me? That's what you get from having one too many cups of Earl Grey tea on a Sunday arvo. But, yeah, corellas tend to be somewhere between a galah and what we call the white cockatoo or sulphur crest cockatoo. So they can be quite large, and they've got little grey eyes, but they've got these surrounding the eye are these big roseate pink patches, and they're really quite beautiful. And again, they're quite curious and fearless little beasties, like most of our parrots, and very, very well adapted to suburban living. Don't know if you guys have caught it, but our white cockatoos have actually found a way to start what we call bubblers, you know, water bubblers, where they've figured out how to turn the tap on. They've figured out how to open bins, even like lift top garbage bins, even when you put bricks on top of them. They find a way to jointly move the bricks off and open the bin and scavenge the bins. Very smart, very well adapted creatures, but corellas tend to be a little more innocent and friendly. And where's I going with that? Oh yeah, Aussies loving their ecology and flora and fauna. And I don't know, I find that heartening somehow. I find that heartening that, you know, we give a damn about stuff like that. That stuff is really super important to us to such a large degree. Now I think we could go straight ahead. That's the museum over there, the Vietnam Museum. And up here is the helicopter joint. I'm not sure what the lights are doing in the background there, but whatever it is, it's very trippy. You know what? I babbled on enough. I'm going to put the handy on. I've flown truly appallingly. I've landed even more appallingly. And we have taken this puppy up. So let us hop out. Open the glove box. Turn that beastie off. Yep. Flick that off. Flick that off. Close that puppy. Hop out. You know, leave it for somebody else to get annoyed about. Yeah, you don't have the, you got a boo-boo sitting right, caribou sitting right here, and not a Poseidon, what is it? Oh shit, I forget what the aircraft is. Anyway, big beautiful world. I hope you enjoyed that. I probably just bored the brains out of you all, even myself. Have a fantastic afternoon. Be well, see you later. Bye.